of people who have their Bibles in their languages, that they have exactly the same problem, that the original Greek and Hebrew has been falsely translated into the modern languages, where certain key words have been distorted to fool us into thinking that the fallen ones are actually God's chosen people.
Well, actually, it seems like it's if you're aware of this, it's easily deciphered even in the King James Bible.
Right, if you pay attention, yes.
If you're paying attention, you can get this.
But if you've been brainwashed with the idea that these Edomites, Canaanites, and Nephilim, today known as Jews, are God's chosen people, if you hear that every day, 30, 40, 50 times a day, okay.
Well, it really wouldn't make any difference.
Begin to believe it.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't make any difference what you read then. If you're brainwashed, you're brainwashed.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, it's brainwashing. Didn't I just quote, didn't Jesus say, be not deceived?
Wow.
Now, if these people have a religion that has absolutely no basis in the law of Moses, mm-hmm. and if their genetics has absolutely no basis in the 12 tribes of Israel, mm-hmm. is this not the deception that has deceived the whole world? Revelation 12:9.
It sounds pretty good because,
mm-hmm.
what you're talking about, Eli, can make people cringe just from the conditioning.
That's right. That's right. I'm essentially, yeah.
What you're talking about is that walking upon this planet are people that are not even, what I call human, which might be another word that's not correct, but mm-hmm. at least for this context, people would understand that we're talking about human beings that are not Nephilim.
Right. Let me qualify.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Let me qualify. I don't want to say that all Jews are Nephilim. Okay.
Oh.
But definitely the Rothschilds are. The Rothschilds actually leave a seat empty at their table for Satan. Okay. The Rothschilds.
Really?
The Rothschilds are conscious Satanists. There's no doubt about it. And you probably heard of the Priory of the Sion, the Illuminati, all of these secret societies that have been running Europe for centuries. Mm-hmm. These are Nephilim societies.
So these people at the city of London were really talking about a nest of Nephilim, half human, half alien. So,
That's right.
There's a show on television that's got these two guys running around, killing these demonic half human.
And they know how to find them.
And they know how to find them. It's just amazing to me. That it's actually a topic for a show.
But
I'm surprised it's coming out of Hollywood. If it's
right. Yeah. Well, they like to toy with us. For example, the Star Wars movies, mm-hmm. and the later series, not Star Trek, but Star whatever it was.
Stargate.
No, I'm not sure. It was with Captain Picard.
Oh yeah, that's the later version of it. Sure.
The later version of it. And do you remember the Ferengi?
The Ferengi, the guys with the big nose and ears.
Those are right.
Money.
Yeah, they're the Jews in space.
So those are the Nephilim. Those are the Nephilim. Okay.
Right. Yeah, now these are Jewish writers that created these characters. Okay. They're just having fun with us. Okay.
Holy cow.
They're just having fun with us, because they know the spacey Jews. They know that 99% of people will never figure this out.
So
go
ahead. I was going to say if a fallen angel has been deliberated, I guess he's kind of like gone to court and he's gotten in trouble. So he's kind of like his day in court's come and gone, and he's pretty much his day's over. As far as he already made his choice, he invoked his will, and it didn't go too well in court. But what about his descendants? Tell us. I mean,
the major fallen angels.
Descendants? Okay, go ahead.
The major fallen angels are in prison in the underworld, and literally under the ground. Okay, they're literally under the ground, imprisoned. Okay, and they are awaiting judgment. Okay, but some of these Nephilim and the hybrid creatures that they produced before the flood, and to some extent after the flood. There was wholesale hybridization, experimenting with species going on before the flood. That's where you get your satyr legends from, your half human, half fish legends, half
Greek
goat
gods and stuff. Yeah.
Right, all these Pan, et cetera, et cetera. These creatures actually existed because they were part of the hybridization experiments that were being done by the fallen angels. Okay, what they were doing was trying to create a slave race. They were using existing races on the planet using existing races on the planet for slavery. And
now this is subsequent to having been kicked out.
Right.
Oh,
and they were. And then Jesus in Luke says, "I beheld Satan falling to earth like lightning." Okay. Mm-hmm. This is the fall of Lucifer. He was banished to this planet.
So so does that rule out then that the UFOs that are coming to the planet are not alien, or they?
Well, some of them are alien, some of them aren't. Okay. My understanding is that there's good aliens and evil aliens as well. Okay. But that's really not a concern for me as a Bible scholar. It's all I know is that we have these evil aliens to deal with, and part of our job here as true Christians is to figure out who they are and isolate them from our company. Paul clearly tells us that any evildoer is to be kicked out of our society. Well, what do the churches do? They try to convert these people into Christians. And what they wind up doing is they convert Christianity into evil by practicing what they practice. You see? It's not working, is it?
Doesn't seem to be. We're in deep doo-doo.
We're in deep doo-doo, and the Christian Zionists are the biggest warmongers on the planet.
And so you don't have to be, quote, a churchgoer to know there's something wrong going on.
Right. In fact, if you're a churchgoer, you're less likely to know because you've been brainwashed by these translations.
So a lot of us are going, what the heck's going on? This isn't right.
Right.
So, okay.
Yeah. Okay,
so,
I see there's a question. Tobias asks, how was Strong's Concordance produced? Strong's Concordance was produced, I think it's right around 1800 or even before, and it was basically using the dictionaries of the time and how the translators, the Greek and Hebrew scholars of the time, understood the meanings of these words. Okay, the vast majority of the definitions in Strong's Concordance are accurate. Okay, but I have found that there's a lot of inconsistencies in how these words are translated. Okay, for example, the word Jew in the Old Testament, usually 90% of the time, it's always translated from the word Judah or Yehudi in the Hebrew. The word Judah, which is simply a reference to the tribe of Judah or to the man Judah, the patriarch Judah, in the Old Testament should always be translated as Judah, because that's who it refers to. It refers to either the man Judah or to the tribe of Judah, very specifically. Okay, but the word Jew. Now, define the word Jew. What's your definition of the word Jew?
Well, it's not an Israelite.
Right.
Sure.
Okay.
So that would rule out being from Judah, which would be called
right.
what, a Judean or a Judeite?
Judean, right. The word Jew comes from the Greek word Judean. And a Judean is simply a citizen of the nation of Judea. It's not necessarily a Judahite. It's just like today, an American. Mm-hmm. Well, the original Americans were white people who owned property. Okay? The founding fathers were all white men, and they didn't allow blacks to vote. They didn't allow Mexicans to vote. They didn't allow Indians to vote. Okay? So the original Americans were all white people, just as the original Europeans were all white people.
Now,
right?
is this non-voting status directly involved with the fact that we're talking about aliens not being allowed to be here, and so they're trying to preserve keep them out? Now, I know that you wouldn't necessarily say a black person's an alien, but and then I'm kind of got an opinion, and I don't know where I've got it. I mean, I can't state where I've come up to this conclusion.